Welcome back, everybody. Today we're diving into something pretty heavy, knife crime in the UK.
Yeah.
But we're not just going to be like doom and gloom, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to be focusing on solutions. And an incredible guy, Edwin Duggan, who's on the front lines of this issue.
What I find so interesting about this deep dive is that we have so many sources from Edwin himself.
I know.
We've got blog posts from him, a YouTube video, even some notes about his current political campaign.
Yeah, and it gives us such a great picture of his background.
Absolutely.
So we're really going to try and connect the dots between his past experiences and, you know, his drive to make a difference.
Yeah, you can really see that play out in his story.
For sure.
Like, did you see the post on his blog about the D-Day commemorations?
Oh, yeah, that was powerful.
You can really tell how much those experiences of service mean to him, you know, like service and sacrifice.
It's like he's applying those same principles to, you know, a new kind of battlefield.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's not just abstract principles either. He's been working directly with families impacted by knife crime.
Yeah, those blog posts where he shares their stories are heartbreaking.
Absolutely. It gives you a perspective that just numbers can't capture, you know?
Right, like the human cost.
Exactly.
And he was actually on the scene reporting after that recent stabbing in Sheffield, Harvey Willgoose.
Oh, gosh, that poor kid.
Yeah, just 15 years old.
It was awful.
His YouTube video from the scene is so powerful.
I mean, it really hits you in the gut seeing the impact on the whole community.
And it's a stark reminder of how often these crimes are happening.
Yeah.
Did you realize that there are an average of like 50,000 knife crimes every year in the UK?
Wow, 50,000?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's crazy. That's like 1 every 10 minutes.
Yeah, it really shows you why Edwin is so passionate about finding solutions. He's not waiting around. He's actually running for political office.
Right. He wants to change things from within the system.
I think that's so admirable.
Yeah, you can tell how much he cares.
Absolutely.
And he's not afraid to call out ineffective measures either.
Like what?
Well, he's been pretty critical of the new legislation on zombie knives and machetes.
Oh, right. Those huge things.
Yeah. You know, he says it bans certain types, but there are still loopholes.
Oh, interesting.
He even spoke to some criminal barristers who share his concerns.
Wow, he's really doing his research.
It's not just criticizing, he's really trying to find solutions.
That's so important.
Exactly.
So what does he think should be done?
Well, one of his biggest campaigns is lobbying Parliament for a dedicated role focused entirely on knife crime prevention.
Huh, like what kind of role?
He wants either a minister for knife crime prevention or at the very least a commissioner with that specific portfolio.
Makes sense.
And get this, he's even started a petition on his website to get public support.
Oh, wow. So he's really going for it.
Yeah, using all the tools he can, public awareness, political pathways.
I like how he's thinking.
And he's not just waiting for legislation, he's also created this practical tool that anyone can use right now.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's called the TRACK system.
TRACK?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's basically a simple acronym to help anyone assist a stabbing victim.
Like, even if you don't know first aid.
Exactly.
That's a great idea.
It breaks down into 5 easy steps.
Okay, I'm all ears. Lay it on me.
All right, so the T stands for talk.
Talk.
Yeah, you talk to the victim to reassure them and to monitor their consciousness, you know, see if they're fading.
Gotcha.
Then R is for ring.
Okay, ring.
Ring emergency services right away.
Right, of course. Every second counts.
Exactly. Then A is for assess.
Assess.
You quickly check the injury, like if there are multiple wounds or if the blade is still stuck in there.
Oh gosh, that's scary.
Yeah, and it's important not to remove it.
Right, right.
Then C is for compress.
Compress.
Apply pressure to the wound. You can use your hands, a shirt, whatever you can find.
Anything to stop the bleeding.
Exactly. And finally, K stands for keep. Yeah. Keep talking to the victim. Keep emergency services updated on their condition. Keep assessing the situation. And keep applying pressure to that wound.
Wow. It's so simple, but it makes so much sense.
Right. In his video, Edwin really emphasizes how those first actions can literally mean life or death.
I can see that.
And what's amazing is that this system, while designed for the UK, could really be used anywhere in the world.
Wow, he's really onto something.
I know, it's just brilliant. It's like he's combined these big political goals with something so practical and immediate.
It's amazing.
What stands out to you the most about his approach?
Well, I think, you know what's really interesting to me is how he brings in all these different issues that you wouldn't think are related to knife crime at first.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, for instance, in one of his blog posts, he talks about parental alienation.
Oh, wow.
And he even suggests a Parental Alienation Prevention and Resolution Act.
Ah, interesting.
His argument is that when families break down, it can have a devastating impact on kids.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And that can lead to problems down the line.
I mean, more research is definitely needed to see if there's a direct link between parental alienation and, violent crime.
Sure.
But it's definitely something to think about.
Absolutely. The role of stable families in preventing these sorts of things.
Right.
It's a really important point he's making.
Yeah, and he also connects this idea to the challenges faced by undocumented immigrants in the UK.
Oh, right.
He argues that because they're often marginalized and exploited, they're more vulnerable.
Vulnerable to what?
Well, to being both victims and perpetrators of crime.
I see.
And he even brings up the tragic murder of Rhiannon White.
Oh, gosh, that was awful.
He's calling for a public inquiry to see if there were any systemic failures that contributed to that case.
It's a sensitive topic, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
But it shows how Edwin's looking at the big picture, the whole community's well-being.
Right. It's not just about punishment. It's about trying to create a more just society.
Exactly.
And he even organizes events to bring people together.
Like what?
Well, like that Together at Christmas event he hosted at Cafanafi.
Oh, yeah. I saw pictures of that on his blog.
It was all about providing support for people who might be alone during the holidays.
Oh, that's really nice.
It's like he's trying to build that sense of belonging that can sometimes be missing.
Right. That's so important, especially for young people who might be feeling lost or hopeless.
And speaking of pathways, let's circle back to that truck sex system.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I love how he's empowering individuals to take action.
Instead of just waiting for the government to do something.
Right. He's giving people a way to help right now in those critical moments.
Yeah. Like, it's great to have long-term goals, but sometimes you need to be able to act immediately.
Exactly. And the track system is so simple but effective.
It's like that stop, drop, and roll thing we learned as kids.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It could become a life-saving reflex.
And he really stresses how important those first few seconds are.
Absolutely. Bystanders can play a huge role while waiting for the paramedics. But it's not just about reacting to incidents. It's about preventing them in the first place, right?
Right. And that's where the whole Minister for Knife Crime Prevention idea comes in.
It's a big ask, but it would definitely mean more focus and resources.
Some people might say that we already have enough government structures.
Yeah, but his point is that what we're doing now isn't working.
Makes you wonder if a dedicated minister could actually make a difference.
And his petition is gaining traction, so there's definitely public support for the idea.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I know, it's a real test of how much power citizens have to influence the government.
And this all ties back into his point about how everything is connected,
Right, it's not just about one issue, it's about the whole fabric of society.
Exactly. Poverty, inequality, opportunity, family structures.
He even talks about assisted dying.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote an article about that assisted dying bill back in October.
Wow. He really does cover a lot of ground.
It's a tough topic, but he approaches it with the same compassion and respect that he brings to everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
He acknowledges that people have different views on end-of-life choices.
Of course.
And he just wants people to be able to make informed decisions, about their own bodies and their own lives.
That's fair.
But I do wonder about him focusing on so many things.
Yeah.
Do you think it dilutes his message at all?
I mean, it's something to consider for sure.
Like, is it better to focus on one thing and really make an impact there?
It's a tough call.
What do you think?
Well, I think
Mm-hmm.
it actually makes his message stronger, Yeah, because he's showing how everything's connected.
Okay.
He's saying that you can't just address knife crime in isolation.
Mm.
It's about creating a society where young people feel valued and supported.
Right, like they have something to lose.
Exactly. And that means looking at poverty, inequality, lack of opportunity.
And even things like parental alienation.
Right. He sees that as a form of violence, too.
It's a really interesting way to think about it.
It's not just about reacting to crime. It's about preventing it.
By addressing those root causes.
Exactly. And what I admire is that he's not just talking. He's actually doing something.
Yeah, he's taking action.
Those community events, the policy work, the tree sake system.
It's inspiring.
It shows that we can all make a difference.
We don't have to be politicians or experts.
Right. We can volunteer, support organizations like his.
Or just have conversations about these issues.
Exactly. It all adds up.
It's like we're all part of this big tapestry.
And every little thread counts.
I love that analogy.
So yeah, I think his work is really powerful.
It really is.
He's shown us that we can tackle these tough challenges.
By focusing on solutions.
And by working together.
And by empowering individuals.
He's fighting for a better future.
Where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
And where violence isn't the answer.
That's a future worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Edwin's story is truly inspiring.
It is.
Hopefully it will inspire all of us to make a difference in our own way.
Yeah, even small actions can have a big impact.
Thanks for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
All right, see you then.